and she engaged us to follow and to check on this particular subject, and true enough,
Thank you so much for coming. Maybe you can tell us more about yourself and your company.
Thank you for having me. My name is Paramjit Singh, and I'm currently the CEO, MD of MVD International Malaysia. My background, I have been working with MNCs. I'm a well-traveled person. Currently, I'm in MVD International. We are into corporate investigation and also private investigation. I've worked for different organizations and all that previously. MVD International has been established since 2003. We are first movers in Malaysia in the investigation space. Our company is a security company licensed by KDN. We have 4 main pillars, which is the investigation division, security and bodyguarding division, employment background screening, and insurance adjusting. For the past 21 years, our main area of expertise has been in the private investigation and corporate investigation services.
Okay, for the benefit of our viewers, what type of clients usually engage your services for private investigation?
We have different range of clienteles which fall under the category of private and corporate. Under the private, we have individuals and VIPs. Under corporate, we have GLCs, multinational companies, and SMEs.
What are the type of cases usually for each of that client base that you talked about?
For individuals, there has been cases where we search for missing family members, premarital checks, child custody, cheating spouses, and investment scams. Under corporate, parallel imports, copyright infringements, employees' misconduct, misuse of company resources, theft, conflict of interest from business partners and employees.
What should clients actually look out for when engaging a PI?
Firstly, it is very important for the client to ensure that the company is a licensed company and holds the 2B license under Akta Agensi Persendirian 1971. They should also ensure that the KDN license holder is the company that they are dealing with. The company should be experienced in this space of investigation. The number of years the company has been operating. It is encouraged for the clients to visit the office to ensure that they have a proper setup and have a face-to-face meeting. Overall comfort dealing with the investigator is also important. Below, we will provide the government portal where the clients will be able to check if the company is actually licensed by KDN.
Okay, so let's say if a client decides to engage a PI, what should they prepare or what should they bring during this first face-to-face meeting?
Most importantly, the clients should prepare themselves by being transparent, honest, and truthful. They should reveal all the information that they have with them in order for us to be able to help them on the suspiciousness that they have. They also need to let us know how they went about or what is the basis of their suspiciousness. Basic facts, clues, leads are important for us to work on. The more information that they can provide to us, the better it is for us to carry out our investigation. Most importantly, they should not confront the subject, because once they have confronted the subject will change its pattern or be more alert in order to protect or cover its tracks. Okay, standard rates for investigation work can range from RM200 ringgit to 300 ringgit per hour. The client should also ensure that the company is using enough resources, which is about minimum of 3 personnel to work on a particular case. If there is less than 3, they have to go and have their lunch or food, or they have to go for their nature call to the washroom and bathroom and all that, then you are left with not many personnel in order to do the investigation. Different angles, different locations is also important for them to be placed in order to capture the evidence that is required. So the angles and positioning is very, very important.
I see. And generally speaking, how long does an investigation normally take?
Investigations can range from days to months, depending again on the complexity of the case and the information provided by the client to us.
A few months ago, I did a quick online survey, 25 to 45 years old, both genders, male and female. We received around 300 responses, and what I basically asked was, should they actually hire a PI in the future? What kind of services would they engage? A majority of 70% answered it's to catch a cheating spouse or somewhere along the lines of gathering evidence for a potential divorce proceeding. Are there any interesting or specific cases that come to mind in this subsection of your services?
Yes, definitely.
Can you share?
Yeah. So the common perception that our clients or public has is PIs work on cheating spouse cases. It is 50% on private cases like cheating spouses. 50% of our cases are corporate cases. So it's a good mix of private and corporate cases. For private cheating spouse cases, there are a couple of cases that comes to my mind. The first case is our client wanted to check on her husband, whom she suspected had a second family. And she engaged us to follow and to check on this particular subject. And true enough, the husband had a second family overseas, which we were able to get the evidence for our client.
So that involves basically taking photographs.
That's right.
Where the movements.
So we had to follow the husband overseas, follow the person, to the place that he was visiting, and based on our investigation and all that, we could then narrow down and find that the husband was having a second family with kids.
Any other cases?
Second case was a gay lesbian case whereby the spouse of a particular person suspected that the husband's behavior had changed and suspected that the husband was having an affair. Upon engaging us, we investigated and we found that the subject was indeed a gay who had a relationship with another person.
So your task was to basically gather photographic evidence.
That's right.
And you submit it to the wife.
That's right. So another case that comes to my mind was about a wife that was working as an escort. So the husband engaged us in order to follow the wife and gather evidence of her night activities. So based on that, we were able to get evidence that she was actually working as an escort.
When do you see that it is enough evidence to show it to your client? Is it just photographic evidences? Where do you stop? I mean, is it just one or two photos or plenty of photos, or you have to get the full rundown of where do you go in a week, or is it in a month? When is it enough? Where do you stop?
Once the client engages us, on a daily basis, end of the day, we will try to keep our clients updated in terms of what's happening on the field, what kind of evidence that we have managed to gather. We do share with them some of the photographs of some of the information and all that we have gathered. So the client is always in control. The client knows what's going on in the field. And the client then decides whether they want to continue to engage us and get more evidence, more revealing evidence, or that amount of evidence is sufficient for them to decide to call us off and pursue with whatever decision that they have.
Do lawyers normally come in during this phase where
Yes.
you're gathering evidences?
Yes, they do. And at times, we also do communicate with the lawyers and keep the lawyers updated as to the evidences that we have gathered. There are situations where the client will then engage with the lawyer in order to confirm if the evidence that we have gathered is sufficient for our clients.
We notice a trend in high divorce cases over the years. So, generally speaking, what do you think is the cause since you've been in this field for such a long time?
Most often, people are blinded by love, and there are telltales, there are red flags which are overlooked by people who are engaged in this situation. Some of them, they marry for security. They want financial securities, financial stability. So that could also be a cause. After some time, they realize that they don't love the person or they don't have feelings for the person and all that. Other situations are also due to lack of attention. Once they have a family with kids, attention goes to the kids, and the spouses feel left out. So they seek attention elsewhere.
Emotional
Support and all that. Yeah. And due to social media being so easily available, that's another cause of marriage breakdowns and all that, whereby people are able to engage with another party quite easily.
What is your advice for those who meet on dating apps and on social media these days? Because quite a number of people actually use these apps today to look for companionship or a future spouse, or even maybe to cheat.
Each person who is engaging in a relationship should do or should conduct a premarital check and do their own due diligence to ensure that the person they are engaging with is clean. They need to get to know the family and extended families and also friends, the close circle friends and all that, in order to know the characteristics of the person that they are engaging with. It is also important for the person to be alert on capturing behavioral change of the partner that they are engaging with.
Any examples of this behavioral change that you are talking about?
For instance, we have had feedback from our clients where they spend more time outside of the house. They are not as emotionally available. They are very agitated, when they are back from work. They spend late nights outside
They spend
of
more
the
time
house.
on the phone.
Spending time on the phone, not giving away their phone, like even going to the washroom or bathroom, they carry their phone along with them. Previously, if they don't set any passwords and all that, and then, they start putting in passwords on their phones, being very secretive. So those are telltale signs, red flags that the partner needs to pick up on.
Let's now talk about missing person cases. I think that's one of the services that MVD offers. Can you tell us how does that work? Is it a police report, or should we just engage a PI right away?
Well, we will advise clients to definitely lodge a police report. That's the first thing that they should do, and concurrently engage a PI to start doing the work and moving to locate this particular person that is missing. The family can be proactive and they can engage a PI anytime if they feel that there is something wrong or there is something out of norm. If someone that they are trying to contact is uncontactable, they can immediately, raise a flag and say that, we suspect something is wrong, and they can engage a PI to start doing investigation and all that. Of course, being an investigator, we also have certain limitations. It takes certain amount of time for us to start our process going. So as soon as the clients feel that there is something out of the norm, they should immediately, contact us or contact a PI or engage a PI to start doing some amount of investigation and all that.
So obviously, the earlier they contact you, the better it is.
The better it is
for the outcome. Any interesting cases with regards to this missing person that you guys have actually encountered?
Yes, two cases comes to my mind. The first one is about an uncontactable boy that was missing during MCO for 3 days. And upon engaging us, we immediately went to the grounds and started to look for this missing person. And we realized that he had actually fallen off a building and was isolated and injured in another building. So he had taken a fall from where he was living. And fortunately, we were able to find him in that condition, still alive. And he had to go through certain rehabilitation and all that, and he is well and good now. Another case that we handled was a client that had migrated overseas for quite a long period of time. He wanted to get in touch with his long lost family members in Malaysia. So he engaged us to track down and find these family members who were living in a different location because the family members had moved to another location.
So let's now move on to SMS scams, love scams, job scams, or even scams that you see frequently nowadays on WhatsApp or even emails. I think the biggest question for most of these victims is, would there be any chance of recovering that lost money, during transit or after the transaction is done?
Unfortunately, the chances of recovering the money that has been transferred out to another party is almost nil. So that's why it's very, very important for the clients or the person who is getting into this scam to be very vigilant. If it is too good to be true, it always is. Don't be gullible.
Are these victims covered by PIDM?
No. Normally, if they have made that transfer of funds themselves, out of their will, then definitely it is not recoverable from PIDM.
So you can't even get it back from the bank and...
I think in certain cases, if I've read in the newspapers and all that, in certain cases, there has been some people who have been able to recover the money. But most cases, the money is gone. It again depends on case to case. It is best that they lodge a police report immediately upon realizing that they have been scammed, and immediately to inform their banks that to stop certain transactions and all that if it is still in the process. I think in recent times, the transaction amount or your transaction limits, it takes 12 hours to 24 hours for it to be activated. So that's enough time for you to realize that whether you are being scammed or you are making these transactions that are not legit.
So let's say you make a police report for these kind of scams. What is to be expected? Is a new case being opened by the police? Are they going to follow up and catch the culprit? Or is it just left hanging there?
Most often, if you lodge a police report, of course, a case is opened up and investigation will start. Most often, these kind of cases and all that are under the commercial crime branch. And as you know, scammers today are becoming very, very sophisticated. They are using AI, they are using videos and voice recordings and all that in order to scam family members.
Where they can impersonate your voice.
Where they can impersonate the person, by saying that they are kidnapping, they have kidnapped a family member and all that. It is always good for the victims to do a double check, to verify that information is correct before they actually do any kind of transaction. So that's where the moment they receive this kind of calls, they should engage the police and do their own due diligence by trying to call the victim's phone or trying to get in touch with the victim in order to verify if they are truly kidnapped or if there is something that has happened to them.
So in other words, stay calm, then just do the necessary
That's
checks
right.
to verify.
That's right.
Okay, let's move on now to business partnership checks, which is also something that you provide. How important is it, and why is it important to do business partnership checks for, let's say, an entrepreneur who's getting into a partnership with someone that they are not familiar with? How does your services help in this area?
I would say, it is very important to engage parties that are able to do proper due diligence. As we know today, there are so many conmens, habitual gamblers, people who have bad credit histories, people who have got legal cases against them. There are a lot of bad hats out there who are trying to enrich themselves as quickly as possible. So it's always best for clients to do, if they are able to do their own due diligence, to do their own due diligence. But if they don't have the resources or the capabilities of doing their own, they should engage experts or professionals in that field to do the due diligence for them.
Let's now move on to pre-employment verification, another one of your services that you offer. Normally, in your experience, what kind of due diligence is there taking place? Or what kind of information are you investigating here? Is it bankruptcy checks for your client? Do you check their history on the internet, their digital trails?
Yes, on the background screening or background checks and all that, we do quite wide range of checks. One of them is, of course, bankruptcy check, in order to ensure that this person is not having any financial liabilities. And we are also able to check their historical cases that they have, in terms of legality, court cases, whether it is industrial case, whether it's civil cases. We also check for their past employment. If they have had any disciplinary issues, they have had any issues with their colleagues, are they a team player, are they not a team player?
So you normally call up their previous employers.
That's right. That's right. We also do educational checks whereby we verify if their certification and all that is actually legit. Because with technology today, people can just copyright, or people can just create their own certification, which are fake certificates. So in order to ensure that the person that we are dealing with is legit, we do all this verification and checks.
So which means you have to contact their educational institutions.
That's right.
To verify if their diploma or degree is legitimate.
That's right.
Any particular cases that MVD has resolved in the past for a client that really stands out, or that you would actually call a huge achievement or your biggest break?
One case comes to my mind where we were engaged by a multinational company. They realized that there was a syndicate within the company, their employees who had created a syndicate to siphon out money from the company by issuing out fake purchase orders, invoices, fake delivery orders and all that, in order to be paid into a company that was set up because the company had certain budgets, and they use this avenue to siphon out the money from that particular budget that the company had.
And how did that end up in the end after gathering the evidence for the client?
Well, the client was happy that they were able to recover certain amount of the funds that was siphoned out. Also in terms of the funds that were paid out as kickbacks and cashbacks and all that, which the employees took. So with the evidence, they could go back to the employees and recover at least not all, but partially the funds that they had lost out to this scam.
Jit, how does one go about getting into the field of private investigation? What do you study, or where do you have to take up these courses? Or maybe what kind of qualities should a potential candidate who wants to enter this field of PI work possess?
Most of the PIs in the market are retired law enforcement officers. There are professional courses available, either locally or overseas. But of course, classroom theory and being on the field or being on the ground is two different experiences. People who have spent a lot of time on the ground, people who have worked in law enforcement officers have that experience and have that knowledge of being good investigators. So it takes a long time before someone gets to be good in this particular field.
Is it a very lucrative business to be in, based on your experience?
I wouldn't say it is lucrative. You need to have passion. Like for instance, for me and my team, we came into this field knowing that it's probably not lucrative, but we had that passion to help people. For us, this is an avenue for us to help people who are in distress, people who are in difficulties, in order for us to be able to support them and get them the evidences that they need to put their life back on the right track.
So in other words, looking back, there are no regrets entering this field of investigation.
Yes, I have no regrets getting into this field. I feel fulfilled. I feel blessed that I have this opportunity to help people who need our help.
So it's basically someone has to expect a lot of late nights.
That's
entering
correct.
this field.
That's correct. Late nights away from family, sometimes getting into dangerous situations.
Where your life is at risk.
Yes.
Jit, how can we reach you? Is there a website or an email or a number that people can contact you at?
Yes. In fact, I will provide our details at the bottom of this video. And if anyone Googles MVD International, Sdn Bhd or MVD International, we are on Google. So we have a web page. They can visit our web page, www.mvdinternational.my, and they will see all the information there. And we also have a contact page where they will be able to contact us either via email or by making a call.
Thank you so much, Jit, for coming to this interview. Really appreciate your time.
You are most welcome.